टोटल माफ करा है और ये पूरा जो लोन अमाउंट बनता है जिसको माफ किया है वो है 36,359। ये लघु और सीमांत किसानों के विषय में है और जो फसली ऋण है, जो फसल के लिए ऋण लिया गया उससे संबंधित है।
योगी आदित्यनाथ जी को मेरी तरफ से और उत्तर प्रदेश के 86 लाख किसानों की तरफ से बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, बहुत बहुत अभिनंदन उनका। अब तक कभी भी किसानों के लिए कुछ किया गया तो चुनाव से पहले किया गया।
चुनाव में सभी किसानों का कर्जा माफ करने की बात की थी। ये ठीक है, उन्होंने अपने घोषणा पत्र में लघु सीमांत लिख दिया, लेकिन मंच पे तो भाषण होते थे सभी किसानों का कर्जा माफ करेंगे।
फसली कर्जा तो माफ कर दिया, परंतु मियादी कर्जा यानी टर्म लोन का क्या होगा? किसान इसी प्रकार से कर्जे के कुचक्कर में और काल चक्कर में फंसा रहेगा, कर्जा मुक्ति उसे नहीं मिलेगी।
आणि आता उत्तर प्रदेशने इतकी मोठी कर्जमाफी या ठिकाणी केल्यानंतर मी आज सकाळीच राज्याचे फायनान्स सेक्रेटरी आहेत त्यांना असं सांगितलं की त्यांनी तात्काळ उत्तर प्रदेशचं मॉडेल काय आहे, त्यांनी कशाच्या आधारावर केली, ते पैसा कुठून आणणार आहेत, या संदर्भातली सगळी माहिती ही त्यांना घ्यायला सांगितली आहे। त्याचा तात्काळ त्यांना पूर्ण जो तक्ता आहे, आपल्या इथला तक्ता आहे, तोही तयार करायला सांगितलेला आहे।
Well, there is a farm loan waiver of loans for the farmers in Uttar Pradesh of 30,000 crore rupees. That has been announced by the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh. We must remember there's some other data that we have to consider. Uttar Pradesh is currently as a state in debt of 49,961 crore rupees. One of the questions that's been picked up is where will the money for this waiver come from? Also, what happens to farmers from other states? States like Maharashtra, for example, that has seen the highest suicides from farmers and an added number of suicides over the last couple of months. Is farm loan waiver the only way forward? Is this the solution to help those who put food on our plates out of debt? That's the question we're asking. Is it good for the country? Is it good for the farmer? Or is it just a gimmick? Joining me on the show this evening, Sudesh Verma, National Spokesperson of the BJP, Shama Mohammad, National Spokesperson of the Congress Party. Through the course of this conversation, Neelam Gorhe of the Shiv Sena will join us as well. Kumar Ketkar, Senior Journalist and Political Analyst. Chengal Reddy is a farmer activist. And Prasenjit Bose is an economist. I welcome all of you to this conversation. Chengal Reddy, I'm going to start with you since you are the voice of farmers on this panel this evening. Is the farm loan waiver the way out for those who work to put food on our plates? Is the farm loan waiver the solution for farmers today?
Farm loan waiver is very, very critical for the simple reason it is the governments that are responsible for farmers' debt slavery or every farmer becoming indebted in the whole country. If you see in the last 3 years of Mr. Modi's government, it's nothing against XYZ. Basically, in the past 3 years, if you see, the losses sustained by farmers such as you said, Maharashtra, or the agitating farmers of Tamil Nadu, or the people in UP and other parts of the country, what is the compensation component given by Government of India? In Tamil Nadu, they asked for some 20,000 crores, they some 1,500 crores. Now, the question here in UP, you see, look at, not that it's really good because at least to some extent it is helping the farmer. But look at the dichotomy here. Mr. Modi announced the loan waiver in UP, not the BJP party or Mr. Yogi Adityanath. Now, the same question, why we as a farmers want to ask Mr. Modi, why did you not allow similar thing for all the BJP states? Of course, as a Prime Minister, you can announce it for the whole country. My question to Mr. Modi is, look, you see, we are expecting in 2014 when we elected Mr. Modi, we thought he will really find some permanent solutions to the farm sector. But in the past 3 years, instead of keeping his election promises, the most important one Mr. Modi has failed is, in 2014, he promised that he will pay minimum support price at cost of production plus 50%. He didn't even increase it to 2%. Then in the so-called insurance, if you see, in the 3 years, it has not made any impact. Now the point here is why is that, you see, to be honest with you, I'm really pained at Mr. Modi. It's nothing to do with UP, because it's Mr. Modi we farmers look to. Because as a national leader of eminence, we thought he will really do for the farmers. But again in UP he played politics, no doubt. Again you see, Mr. Yogi Chinad fixed rate 1 lakh of rupees. That's very unfair. See, and will it go to animal husbandry? Will it go to fisheries? Again there is a question. See, look at the other problem. The same day today there are news that Tamil Nadu in the High Court has given orders for loan waiver, that too to the cooperatives. See, these are all basic things. You are talking about the nation, economy and food security and farmers. The whole thing is in a mess because of the government of India has absolutely no clarity on agriculture issues. And it is very wrong to say somebody in Delhi tomorrow
let's get responses on that, Chengal Reddy. Just give me 1 second. Let me bring in Sudesh Verma. Sudesh Verma of the BJP. Chengal Reddy is asking a very simple question. The farm loan waiver in Uttar Pradesh was announced by our Prime Minister. So why not for all the farmers across the country, for farmers in Maharashtra, farmers in Tamil Nadu who have been protesting in Delhi now for nearly a fortnight, who have received very little attention? Why is it that farmers in Uttar Pradesh qualify for a waiver and the rest don't?
Let me put the facts correct, is the BJP's agenda for governance, Sankalp Patra, that had spoken about farm loan waiver. And after that, it naturally became all party leaders, including the Prime Minister of the country, who himself comes from Uttar Pradesh, will talk about it. So you take the word of the Prime Minister as an announcement, or you take the word from Sankalp Patra to be announcement, that depends on what you want to take. But we are very sure that this was a poll promise, which the party had committed. Party had made an assessment about the status of agriculture in Uttar Pradesh. We genuinely thought that the farmers of Uttar Pradesh needed the farm loan waiver because Uttar Pradesh agriculture is suffering. Something was to be done like this, otherwise they would not be able to integrate to the mainstream economy, agriculture economy of Uttar Pradesh. We want the farmers to do well, and that is why we have taken a decision that has benefited 2.15 crore.
No, madam, please ask this gentleman, BJP gentleman, as to why 2014 manifesto was not implemented.
And to say, let me complete. I heard your long speech, kindly listen to me. I heard your long speech, kindly listen to me. I heard your long speech. Kindly listen to me. I'm not succumbing. I'm not succumbing. Let me complete my statement.
Mr. Modi hasn't implemented 2014.
The question that Chengal Reddy is asking, the 2014 support price for produce was also part of the poll promise, but that was not enacted. Why not?
You won't reach anywhere. Let me speak what I have to. I'm going to answer to your question. Kindly listen to me. Have the patience to listen. You see, about other farm loan waiver in other states, it is for the state governments of the states to decide whether the farmers need that. If these states think that their finances are enough and they should be doing it, they should be doing. Nothing stops them from not doing. But don't put it in the basket of the Prime Minister that the Prime Minister should do. Kindly don't do this injustice.
Sudesh Verma, the question that Chengal Reddy is asking is this.
Even
in 2014, the BJP's poll promise was support price for produce.
You see, you have waived off
but that was not enacted. Chengal Reddy, one second. Sudesh Verma, why was support price for produce, which was also a poll promise in 2014, not enacted?
What's your problem? You have plenty of money to give it to industries, and you have no money to give it to farmers, is it? What type of argument you are putting forth on your behalf
of your party? What is your problem? Why don't you allow the anchor to speak? Allow the anchor to speak. He's asking some question.
Why don't you answer first?
Let her ask the question.
You tell your BJP, all the great leaders. Why is that you first answer this question before you talk of UP?
Chengal Reddy, one second. Mr. Reddy, I understand the angst of the farmer in India. Mr. Reddy, I understand the angst of the farmer in India. Sudesh Verma, let me put forward these questions. Yes, I'm asking him those questions.
Adopting double standards in every place, every day, every party.
Yes, I'm asking him those questions. Sudesh Verma, question number 1. You said poll promises are very clear. We're going to keep our poll promises. The BJP's 2014 poll promise was that support price will be offered to farmers. It was not done. 50%. Why was it not done? Was that poll promise not as important as this one? Why is UP special? It's a simple question we're asking. Why is UP special?
No, we have. Let me tell you what we said. Take out the Paul manifesto. We have said that it should double. We are talking of doubling the income of farmers. So all these things will be taken care of.
When?
Support
What about the
price has been
MSP?
increased. May
When?
not be to the extent to the demand that has been made, but it has been increased. And we are more interested in empowering the farmers using various means so that their farm income doubles. That is what
Right.
the strategy should be.
Right, I want to open this up to the rest of the panel right now. Kumar Ketkar, Neelam Gorhe, Prasenjit Bose and Shama Mohammad also join us. Kumar Ketkar, here's the simple question. The Prime Minister made a couple of promises. One was support price of produce. The second was in UP when he talked about farm loan waivers. Why does UP get his promises actually fulfilled when the rest of the country doesn't? There are farmers in Maharashtra who are starving. There are farmers in Tamil Nadu who are starving. There are farmers in Telangana who are starving. Why is UP special? Kumar Ketkar.
Well, actually, we must understand that all economy is essentially political economy. Politics cannot be separated from economics. Why only UP has been chosen is because Prime Minister's eyes or BJP's eyes are on 2019 elections. And on 2019 elections, they must perform the same way they performed in UP assembly elections. So the eyes are on 2019 Lok Sabha elections. So that is the political economy of UP. Because if UP they don't win next time, then their majority is endangered. Now, why do not they do it Maharashtra? Maharashtra, Shiv Sena, Congress as well as NCP have been campaigning. Shiv Sena has raised this issue long time ago, but Maharashtra Chief Minister has been consistently saying we cannot afford it and loan waiver is not the solution. Now, loan waiver is not the solution was the position he has taken till day before yesterday. Now, suddenly after UP has waived loans, immediately Chief Minister said I will study what they have done. Why? They could have done the study earlier. So the question is political economy. Now that UP has done, it is embarrassing for Maharashtra government to not to do it. So to avoid embarrassment, he is doing it. So the question is absolutely simple. Once Maharashtra government also announces the demand will be across India, the country may not be able to afford it or may be able to afford it, that's not a question. Simple point is industrial non-performing assets have been forgiven.
Yes.
Non-performing assets amount is 10 times or 100 times more than the farmers' loans. And yet those loans taken by the industry, by the corporates, by the capitalists have been not taken back at all by the banks. And actually the so-called demonetization or notebandi came because of that. And nobody is asking about any question about the loans taken by the industry. And so the farmers' loans become such a big political issue. Essentially, it is a political economic issue, and that political economic issue has been sorted out for UP first because UP has got 80 seats in Lok Sabha. Maharashtra has got 48 seats. So I think after UP, now they will create some way by which Maharashtra also will be announced some kind of a loan waiver.
Right. I want to bring in Neelam Gorhe off the Shiv Sena. Neelam Gorhe ji, thank you for joining us. According to the numbers right now, there are 3,063 farmers in the state of Maharashtra who committed suicide in 2016. 3,228 farmers committed suicide in the state of Maharashtra in 2015. And in 2017, in the first 2 months, 117 farmers have already committed suicide. So it's obviously in Maharashtra a huge problem, but somehow the government found it necessary, like we were pointing out, to waive the loans in Uttar Pradesh first. Do you think this is politics, Neelam Gorhe?
Definitely feel that there is a discrimination done by the center because the moment a promise.
All right, we don't have Neelam Gorhe's audio right now, but we'll come back to it. Shama Mohammad of the Congress Party, is the BJP government right now playing politics with the lives of our farmers?
First, like Mr. Rahul Gandhi said, it's a step in the right direction, but there are a lot of loopholes in this step. First and foremost is that it's a crop loan. Crop loan is only around 33%. Like Mr. Reddy was asking, what about term loan, which is around 77%, which is mechanization and the rest of it, fisheries, animal husbandry. So they have not looked into that. And like Mr. Reddy was asking, he has promised in 2014, the Prime Minister of this country, that he's going to waiver these loans of all farmers. Why only Uttar Pradesh? I mean, why is Uttar Pradesh? And it was not Yogi Adityanath who promised the waiver. It was Prime Minister promising the loan waiver in Uttar Pradesh. So are Uttar Pradesh farmers different? I mean, we have to start with a clean slate. If you can waiver corporate loans around 77,000 crores, why not these farmers? We start with these farmers, we give them a clean slate. Now, loan waiver is not the answer. The answer is how do we improve these productivity? You know, nobody is going towards farming, so we need to...
Are you saying, Shama Mohammad,
this is a short-term solution.
Congress party, that it's not just these loans, even the term loans need to be waived? Or are you saying loan waiving is not the solution at all?
No, we are saying we have to waive these loans. But we have to waive also the term loans. Why only crop loans? There are term loans. And what about the rest of the farmers? Like you mentioned, Tamil Nadu farmers been protesting for the last 2 weeks. Maharashtra, last time, the highest number of suicides in Maharashtra. What about them? Why are their loans not there? That's also a BJP ruled state. Why the special preference for Uttar Pradesh? There are many other BJP ruled states where farmers are committing suicide. There are farmers, Karnataka has had 3 years of drought. So there's a lot of issues out there. But why? It's a right step, but why only Uttar Pradesh? Let us waiver the loan of many other farmers and, you know, committing suicide every other day.
Sudesh Verma.
It's very surprising to find Congress spokesperson Shama speaking in this language. She should be recalling that Mr. Rahul Gandhi had toured Uttar Pradesh and interacted with farmers of Uttar Pradesh, and then he had met the Prime Minister making such demands about loan waiver. He did not make demands about farmers of Maharashtra or other farmers.
No.
So now that it has been done, she is complaining that why only Uttar Pradesh? You should ask your leader, Mr. Rahul Gandhi.
He was asking for also the term loan. Why are you not waiving the term loan? Why only crop loan? That's what we are asking. Why not the term loans also?
No, I can understand. I can understand you asking a question. I don't mind. But I mind when the Congress asks a question.
He was not campaigning over there.
Mr. Modi is
the Prime Minister of the country.
Let me bring in Prasenjit Bose, because whether it is the Congress or the BJP, one second, whether it is the Congress or the BJP.
Rahul Gandhi is not the Prime Minister. Mr. Modi is the Prime Minister.
One second.
Not the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh. Remember that.
1 second. Mr. Verma, Ms. Mohammed, just give me 1 second, please.
For your panelists, if you want it to be set, let me set the facts correct
Mr. Verma, 1 second.
Mr. Verma is interrupting me when I'm speaking.
Will both political parties just give me 1 second, please, and stop speaking over each other? I want to bring in Prasenjit Bose. Now, Prasenjit Bose, whichever party decides to waive farm loans, the truth is the bill at the end of the day is written out in the taxpayer's name. It is the average taxpayer who has to pay for every farm loan waiver. Prasenjit Bose, do you believe farm loan waivers are the solution to the problem that we're facing right now? And should it come out of taxpayer money?
Well, of course, it's not a long-term solution, but there is definitely a justification for providing, periodic debt relief to farmers, and this is not for the first time that this has happened in the country. In Kerala, in Andhra Pradesh, and even at the national level, you had the previous government which had gone for this kind of a one-time loan waiver kind of program. And what the Uttar Pradesh government has announced is also a very partial kind of a debt relief. It is not waiving the entire loan of all farmers. It is doing it with a 1 lakh rupees cap. Having said so, I think the point that you are trying to make is, of course, there is a need for deep introspection for all political parties, and of course the party which is ruling at the center at this point of time. That why is it the case that over decade after decade the only thing that we are having to offer to our farmers are these periodic reliefs, and the statistics on farmer suicides are there for all to see, which shows that the problem is actually structural. There is a structural problem afflicting Indian agriculture, and several economists, agricultural economists and others have written about it for more than 2 decades now, that the kind of policy trajectory that we have been following in our country has actually brought this crisis into the agricultural sector. Now, the problem is that no government, including the BJP, has either any idea or the intent in addressing the structural issues involved. For instance, what about farm prices? What about the modernization of infrastructure, of marketing infrastructure, of storage infrastructure, of technological innovation in agriculture? These are the long-term problems which no political party actually is interested in addressing seriously. The only thing they have to offer are these periodic debt reliefs. And now, after having castigated everybody of indulging in populism, the BJP is also following the same trajectory. I don't think that farm loan waiver is a BJP's idea. Every other political party, from the Congress to the left to other regional parties, have done it from time to time. Now the BJP has also done it. I think it is overdue given the crisis in the agricultural sector. But I think it's a fair question to ask, that why should it be only for Uttar Pradesh?
Why should it only be UP? In fact, I want to go back to Neelam Gorhe, if you give me 1 second. Neelam Gorhe, the Shiv Sena has been asking for a farm loan waiver of its ally, the BJP, for a very long time now. The waiver has come in UP but not in Maharashtra. Still, what is the reaction of the Shiv Sena, Neelam Gorhe?
First, when we were in opposition, that time also we have been demanding. So initially I will like to congratulate Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, because many times the promises which are given before the elections, they are not implemented. But it may not be 100% foolproof. However, one of the measures definitely which will give solace to farmers is waiving of the loan. Number two, we raised the moment there was a promise made before the election in UP, that why there is discrimination in between two states. And actually I will like to put this into the context of sustainable development goals and farming together. If we can see the impact of the globally and also nationally and locally, the climate change, we are seeing that there are so many natural calamities through which farmers have to go through, number one. Number two, minimum support price, the protection which is needed for the farmers, there also we are lacking. On top of it, now when it comes to, there was a decision done by the state government to waive off loans of the private money lenders. Still it was not that effective. So keeping that in mind, Uddhav Thackeray has demanded that though we are in power, we have been pressing since last 2.5 years for Karza Mukti, which means emancipation from the loans. Another thing, we do feel that banks, there is so much of dependency on the banks. So you have raised the very crucial issue of suicides of the farmers, and we come across many cases where incidences after incidences, a farmer who is having loan of 50,000 or 40,000, that person, because the moment he is not able to repay the loan, he does suicide. So now what happens to also the widows of these farmers in the state, that is also a major issue. And on top of it, every time if the farming is not that viable, they need definitely some solace. I also heard some experts saying that whether that is the only solution. Though government has accepted various reports like Dr. Swaminathan committee report, the report of Indira Gandhi Research Institute, however, still we are coming across suicides in Marathwada, Vidarbha. So keeping this into context, Uddhavji Thackeray has demanded from the government that loans should be waived off. Now, whether UP model is the perfect one or the earlier Maharashtra model, what should be the best in the state, that needs to be studied. And that's what Devendraji Fadnavis has clarified today in assembly. But however, we feel that there is an urgency.
Kumar Ketkar, at the end of the day, all of these waivers come out of taxpayer money, and neither the state of Uttar Pradesh nor the state of Maharashtra can afford these waivers. And I want to go back to what Prasenjit Bose said, which is basically that on one hand, we can't afford it, and nobody is looking for the long-term solutions. Do you believe that any of the current governments, state or centre, have looked for long-term solutions for farmers' problems? Solutions like mechanization, solutions like farm prices. Nobody has actually looked at anything other than farm loan waivers, which always has been a poll gimmick.
No, this is not
well,
correct.
Actually, you must understand
what we have done.
The farmer who takes loans and the farmer who takes loans, and the farmer who is not even able to take loan, and the farmer who is not a farmer who doesn't have a land to take loan. Farmer is not one single homogeneous entity. There are all kinds of farmers. Now the question is, those farmers at the middle and the small level who cannot afford to take large loans, do not have large farms, do not have cash crop, have to depend on small loans from the banks which they cannot afford, and as you correctly said, they commit suicide. But when farm loans are completely waived, they also benefit the rich farmer. And the poorest of the farmer does not get any benefit because it doesn't have land and it doesn't have loan. So farmer is not homogeneous community. We have to understand agriculture, which is a kind of a homogeneous concept, and agriculture problem has to be sorted out. Now everybody promises, Narendra Modi promised minimum support price, but actually did not come. Actually he said minimum support price plus 50% bonus. That was his announcement in Maharashtra campaign about 3 years ago. Now he has not done that. Now suddenly loan waiver question comes and the BJP says that we will not do it in Maharashtra concern. And after Maharashtra has been denied, suddenly UP comes along. And when UP comes along, suddenly Maharashtra government says we will study it, how they have done, and we'll do it. Term loans have not been waived off, only crop loans have. So the question is, they are trying to solve the problem at a very minimum level, just at the political level, just at the election gimmick level, and not at the fundamental level. And that issue has to be sorted out at the fundamental level. Agriculture has been neglected. MS Swaminathan report has not been at all implemented. While MS Swaminathan gets lots of tributes, but his reports are not implemented. I think agriculture needs to be handled. If industry can get all the loans and can get all the benefits from the banks, and banks are virtually dried because of the industrial loans, why not farmers be given the same benefit? And, not to loot the banks, but to get survival benefits.
All right. Shama Mohammad.
He mentioned the minimum support price plus 50% was told by the Prime Minister in the 2014 campaign. And when the Supreme Court asked in 2015, he said, we cannot do this. That's what the government of the day.
So tell me
so that is one point. And also,
government did in the 10 years that it was in power to bring in mechanization and modernization into farming.
That's what I'm just going to get to that.
To give support
we wanted to get
farmers.
in FDI in retail. Now, one of the most important things when you have FDI in retail is that they stalled it, the BJP, is that we create supermarkets. You know, foreign investments in supermarket helps in proper storage of these vegetables and fruits and whatever the farming.
You're talking about cold chaining and retail are two completely different things. It's not the same thing.
It helps see what happens in our country
is
also.
What did you do for modernization? Shama, if you're going to point fingers at the current government, what did the...
We are the ones who have, you know, when we did the loan waiver in 2008, they called it populous. You know, that's what the BJP did. We started out with all this. What I'm trying to say, when you have...
So, fundamentally, you both have done the same thing.
No,
we're talking, which is what Kumar Ketkar is talking about, that there isn't a single government.
MSP. Our MSP was so high. What are they doing?
There wasn't a government that worked on modernization and mechanization of agriculture. Neither one of the governments worked on it. Chengal Reddy, would you believe that any of the governments have worked on modernization of agriculture, either the UPA or the current BJP government?
Mr. Rahul Gandhi, I don't think he knows who Mr. MS Swaminathan is, because in 2006, when this report was placed in Parliament, till 2014, this gentleman, Mr. Rahul Gandhi, he was an MP and his mother was heading the Congress party and they were ruling. For 8 years, this party, the great party whom would make all sorts of claims, hasn't implemented even one single issue of the Swaminathan report. And of course, it's not that I want to criticize XYZ. I mean, I don't want to comment on politicians. I want to ask Mr. Rahul Gandhi one simple question. Mr. Rahul Gandhi, do you know, is there culture in agriculture? Ask him to answer that. He doesn't understand agriculture. Now, as far Modi is concerned, the problem with Modi is he's smart and good. But the problem came with Mr. Modi because during 2014, he spoke very well about all sorts of people. After 2014, first 1 year, he did concentrate on foreign affairs here and then. Then he lost track. Now he is getting into politics. Mr. Modi, let me tell you, in 2017, you have Karnataka elections. In 2018, you are likely to get your Gujarat elections. In 2019, you are ready. But please understand, farmers are no longer bluffed by you. Look at today, Mr. Modi. Today you have yesterday Adityanath announced loan waiver. Do you know these two interesting news? One is there is no price for chilies, pulses, oil seeds, nothing. You are nowhere. You and your government institutions, you declare 28 prices for MSP for all the products by CACP, and who is there? There is nobody to purchase. There is nobody procuring institutions.
Okay, all right. Allow Sudesh Verma an opportunity. One second. Allow Sudesh Verma an opportunity to respond. Mr. Chengal Reddy.
People,
one
both
second.
these politicians, political parties, national political parties, your existence is coming to an end. Only problem is we farmers have no alternative. Otherwise, long time back would have netted you out of your positions in top to bottom.
All right, Chengal Reddy says that none of the national politicians understand farmers really. Sudesh Verma, I also want to point this out. Sudesh Verma, respond to Chengal Reddy.
None of these politicians representing farming community, madam, they are not politicians. They are professional. They are not farmers. They are professional politicians.
Kindly have the patience to listen, Mr. Reddy.
Okay, all right, Mr. Reddy. Let's hear him respond. All right, let's hear him respond. All right.
Mr. Reddy, you are a senior person. Kindly have the patience to listen.
What is it? Tell me, what am I?
If you listen, then probably the viewers will understand. You may not understand.
Okay, gentlemen, one at a time, please. One at a time. Mr. Chengal Reddy, please allow Sudesh Verma to respond. Sudesh Verma, please respond.
You have quoted, Mr. Reddy has quoted Mr. M.S. Swaminathan. Mr. Ketkar has also quoted M.S. Swaminathan.
Yeah.
The same Mr. M.S. Swaminathan gave a certificate of appreciation for the Gujarat government for implementing agriculture.
Focus on the problem at hand.
Listen to me. Let me complete.
Sudesh Verma, focus on the topic.
Let me complete.
We're discussing a very genuine issue, and I want to point out to our audience why we're discussing it. Gentlemen, please.
This is not fair. If you don't
the money for farm loan waivers comes out of our taxes. The money for farm loan waivers comes out of our taxes, and as the Indian middle class, it is our responsibility to support and look after our farmers in this country. But we also have to, at that point, as the Indian middle class, ask very carefully if the money is being used responsibly and if this is really the solution, or is it simply plain politics. Now, we know there are farmers in Tamil Nadu who are in desperate need of help, in Maharashtra who are in desperate need of help. Why do the farmers in Uttar Pradesh come first? Now, this is, I want to point out to our audience one more time, this is our money, this is our taxpayer money as the middle class that gets used for farm loan waivers. It is our duty to question the governments of the day and make sure that they are making responsible decisions and not making decisions purely based on politics and what they can gain in polls. So Sudesh Verma, go ahead.
You should listen also, allow the counterpoint to prevail.
Sudesh Verma, please go ahead.
You have not allowed me to speak.
I'm allowing you to speak right now.
I told you that we are taking steps to empower farmers. You see, we have taken steps to empower farmer. If so many years of neglect of the farming community by not creating a parallel infrastructure of irrigation.
Why haven't you put the MSP then? Where is the MSP?
Interlinking of rivers was thought of.
Sudesh Verma.
Let him speak.
We have again started talking of that. In Uttar Pradesh, we have promised that we'll link the rivers to take care of Bundelkhand and other parts which are parched of water. Thanks to Narmada Sagar Dam in Gujarat, that Gujarat no longer has water crisis. It used to have earlier. So these things have to be taken at the infrastructure level. We have created e-mandis.
Mr. Verma,
we are creating rural roads to link it with e-mandis so that farmers can have the best price.
Taken up by government of India.
Shama
We have brought in soil health card. You understand soil health card? So that the farmers can grow the best quality crop in the soil they have.
See, the Congress party's MSP price was very high.
This is what is happening.
Mr. Verma, don't put everything on the government before. We had our MSP very high. The highest number of suicides by farmers was in 2015, 12,500 farmers. It's never happened when the UPA was in power. The distress is
I don't think it's fair to say it's never happened when the UPA was in power.
No, but not this number. And the distress was after 2014 because Mr. Modi completely neglected the farmers. He's only worried about the corporates.
1 lakh farmer suicide happened.
Maharashtra is your own government. Isn't this the Bharatiya Janata Party?
Okay, all right. We can keep pointing fingers, but
why
the truth is that
MSP price not been increased? That is one way you could have helped the farmers.
Prasenjit Bose.
Why has Mr. Modi has gone back on that promise?
One second. Prasenjit Bose, 1 second.
Let them think
I want to quote here the chairperson of SBI, Arundhati Bhattacharya, who has said recently that she said, we feel in the case of farm loan waivers, there's always a fall in credit discipline because people who get a waiver have an expectation for a future waiver. And such future loans remain often unpaid. Today, the loans will come back to us as the government will pay for it. But when we disburse loans in the future, farmers will wait for the next election and expect another waiver in the election to come. Now, the truth is that, Prasenjit Bose, a lot of times banks, once the waiver happens, they become really cagey about lending again. A lot of the banks don't want to lend to farmers who have not been able to pay. A lot of the farmers are just waiting from an election to election cycle to have their loans waived. Do you believe that this is a real problem? Chengal Reddy, I see your hand up. I'll come to you, but I want Prasenjit Bose to answer the question first.
Well, well, she has a academic point, because there is this called moral hazard, that if you sort of waive loans, then the expectation of such waivers coming in the future rises, and therefore the credit discipline falls. But I think that the SBI chairperson saying this, I think the SBI should be, or all the banks or the entire banking system should be more concerned about the non-performing assets vis-a-vis the big corporations in our country, which the NPAs owe to the industry. They are several times more than the NPAs which are owed to small farmers in agriculture. There is absolutely no comparison there. I think it's not a fair point, and in any case the government is compensating the banks, so the banks are not the ones who are really taking the hit. I think the larger point is, you see, the BJP spokesperson actually is just making claims. You are the ruling party. It has been over 3 years now. I think that it is time that you start talking about outcomes. How substantially have your policies vis-a-vis agriculture and the farmers been different from those that were pursued by the previous government? You promised to give them a better deal. Now the only deal that you are having to offer is something like a loan waiver. Please hear me out. Is something like a loan waiver, which actually is what the Congress government itself had done. Now the fact that you are having to resort to the same kind of policies actually shows that your policy framework or your understanding vis-a-vis agriculture or what you have to offer to the Indian farmers are absolutely no different from what the Congress party had to offer earlier. You have no progressive or better alternative to offer to the Indian farmers in terms of
what
the
is your solution
to the
give us some solutions which we have not done.
Sudesh Verma, it is not Prasenjit Bose's job to find a solution to the farming problems. It is the government's job to find a solution to them. You can't turn the argument around by saying, give me a solution, you tell me the answer then. But the question that he's asking is very fair. How have your policies been different from the previous government? Kumar Ketkar, and then
ask question, but tell me the points on which we have not performed. Tell me what we should have not done, what we should have done.
No, Sudesh Verma, what have you done?
Tell me one step we have taken, we should not have taken.
Tell us what you have done, Sudesh Verma.
Economic advisor.
You are
Sudesh Verma, the question is very simple. What have you done? What have you done that is different from the previous government?
You read the Swaminathan Commission report.
We have created e-mandis. Do you understand e-mandis?
You don't give loan.
We have created e-mandis.
You provide.
We have brought control.
One second, Prasenjit Bose, let's hear him out. He said we've created e-mandis. What is the next one? Go ahead.
Do you understand the importance of this for a farming community?
How many e-mandis have they created? How many farmers have access to this
e-mandis?
How many farmers have internet access?
I was going to ask him.
You are all living in a make-believe world actually. Of digital payments.
The farmers are accessing this mandi through their
Chengal Reddy, I know you had a response also on whether or not banks will continue to lend to farmers after the farm loan waiver. But Sudesh Verma just points out that e-mandis is the big achievement of the BJP government in this term.
You are theoretically trying to postulate everything. We can't help you. Go to the field and make some study and find out whether our steps have reached them or not.
Chengal Reddy.
Yeah, you see, the problem with political parties in regard to farmers, their perception of farmers' issues is problematic. See, look at industry and service sector. The growth has come for 3 reasons. First of all, they got the best technologies. Anything, you go to medical or you go to industry or roads anywhere, or aeronautics or communications. They got the best technologies from every part of the world. The second one, if you see, the industries and service sector got unlimited credit from anywhere in the world. They never question there where the money comes, whether it is MNC, France, black, white or yellow. The third aspect is any service and industry, if you see the market reforms, in terms, suppose there is an export, they give incentive. There is excellent, there is a, see they go on giving. Look at all these three things in regard to agriculture. What are the new technologies either Congress or Mr. Modi has brought in last 15 years? Next to nothing. What about investments? It is a bloody piece of, I mean, it's like giving prasadam in a temple, a little one when you are hungry. The last one, I'm asking this gentleman who probably doesn't understand. AP reforms are there for last 15 years, my friend. The Congress people haven't done it. You haven't done it. Your states haven't done it. Your government hasn't done it. Now, you are going into reforms. My friend, I will ask you a simple thing. Don't go into reforms. The existing institutions are there, 2, 3, which Mr. Modi can set right in 60 days. Not in 60 days, yaar, 30 days mein kar sakte. Modi bahan neta hai. I'll tell you 2, 3 things. First of all, reform CACP. Because the price fixing mechanism, Mr. Modi doesn't understand. It is 15-20% less than what we spent. The second is set right it and see that farmer gets a reasonable, profitable price. The second, my dear friend, look at investments in irrigation sector. In both the Congress and BJP have spent 5-6 lakhs crores on roads. Now, what is your problem in spending irrigation? Take it as a national irrigation project. And then I'm asking you a very simple question, my dear friend. Mr. Modi is going to Israel for all sorts of defense equipment. Do you know Israel has one of the finest genetical modern frontier technologies? If Mr. Modi doesn't know, please ask his scientific advisor, he will tell you. Now, that one other like this, there are 3, 4 market reforms.
Okay, all right,
I will ask you a simple question, my friend.
Okay.
Why is that you are not closing these mandis and giving free market? You are not interested. It is your government of India is your BJP. Majority of your states are BJP and your allies. But still you are not implementing. Look, my dear, you political people, you are, I don't want to comment, but somehow you are not sincere, my dear friend. You are not sincere, committed in dealing with farmers. Only problem, lucky, you are all lucky because these farmers don't know how to go on strike or revolt or do something which will harm you, hurt your political people. That's why you are all taking them for granted.
Sudesh Verma,
reforms, my dear friend,
please respond. It's a very straightforward question. It's a very straightforward question. A lot of things have not been done up till now. You have the power to do so. Do you not understand the farmers of India, Sudesh Verma?
A very senior leader of the BJP went to Israel to understand drip irrigation there. And she was told by Israeli authority that why do you come here to study this? Go back to Gujarat. They have implemented drip irrigation. We are implementing
service, Sudesh Verma. No, enough rhetoric. Okay, I'm going to cut you off. Now I'm going to cut you off. Now I'm going to cut you off because you're not answering any of the questions. I'm going over to Kumar Ketkar. Kumar Ketkar, this is the sort of rhetoric that will just never answer the questions. The questions are very simple. Kumar Ketkar, do you believe e-mandis have actually helped the farmers?
If you ask them to talk like citizens of India,
because you don't see beyond elections.
Any political party is represented.
Kumar Ketkar.
Damn representation. You are there day after tomorrow, you are gone, man. We are Indians, we are farmers.
Well, actually, we must understand. Well, actually,
see, you don't say about
one second. Mr. Chengal Reddy, 1 second. Let me bring the other panelists in. Mr. Chengal Reddy, 1 second, sir. 1 second, sir. Kumar Ketkar.
Everything is being implemented now.
Well, actually, it is necessary to understand that the BJP and Narendra Modi and Arun Jaitley have a split personality as far as policies are concerned. On the one hand, they want to actually satisfy and actually promote the interests of the urban middle classes, the consumer classes, the shopping malls, and the new consumerism that has been brought by the multinationals, by the globalization, by the liberalization. Nothing wrong in liberalization, nothing wrong in globalization, but the point is they have a split personality. On the one hand, they want to placate the entire urban consumerist middle class, and on the other hand, they want to also placate the entire corporate class, Indian or multinational. Therefore, naturally, they want to show that they are also actually helping the agriculture. Now, only way to show that they are helping the agriculture is to create such kind of gimmicks like waiving loans. The same kind of approach when Congress used to do, they used to say these are populist measures, these will not solve the basic problem. The question of supporting MS Swaminathan comes because he is talking about the minimum support price, he is talking about the agricultural technology, he is talking about the landless laborer. He is talking about the agricultural laborer.
Neelam Gorhe,
wages.
Right. Let me bring in Neelam Gorhe of the Shiv Sena. Neelam Gorhe, do you believe that these governments should be focusing on improving the conditions of life and work for farmers, or simply handing out farm loan waivers? At the end of the day, Neelam Gorhe, farm loan waivers is what the Congress government also did. Why are we continuing to do the same thing? Why haven't we come up with new solutions? Why haven't we come up with new policies for farmers?
No, but in my deliberation, my first deliberation, Madam D'Souza, I said that it is one of the steps for, this is a survival mechanism, but I mentioned about Dr. Swaminathan committee report which needs to be implemented. We mentioned about the minimum support price, we mentioned about marketing of the crops, I mentioned about climate change, I mentioned about using technology so that farmers can be equipped. So it is not the only one solution.
No, but in your opinion, ma'am, have any of those things been done?
Totally in this discussion, and I feel slightly disappointed. Let me complete because the thing is that, you know, what happens to the women-headed household farmers, you know, all over the country, what we see, that access to various technologies, access to information, and there is a very big number of women who are working in the non-formal sector of the farming. So policy for farmers are important. Along with that, there is a need for policy for women-headed household within farming community also. So unless and until we don't see into holistic way, this is one of the solutions. So it is not either or. So please don't misunderstand about our point that the moment there are laws are waived off, everything will be okay. It's not the case, but that is one of the crucial steps. That's what we are trying to assert.
Ms. Gorhe, my question to you was, do you believe, and you named a lot of other things that need to be done quite rightly, do you believe that any of those things have been achieved in the last 3 years? The improvement of technology, the water in the state of Maharashtra is a huge problem. Have we solved the water problem? Have we worked towards not finding ourselves in drought like we found ourselves last year? Has this government tackled any of those things in the report you mentioned, other than simply handing out waivers?
No, regarding watershed development program, I must say that government of Maharashtra has done good work. Number one, along with the government, lot of social organizations, they have contributed a lot in human resource, also with money, so that this time the situation we were expecting that it will come out, because there can a lot of water reservoirs which have come across all over the state. Number one. Number two, I would say the food security scheme, which is really helping farmers to some extent, I would say, in Vidarbha and Marathwada. But along with that, when it comes to getting loans, or whether it's getting, you know, marketing support chain, it is not that sufficient, and we are not very happy with that mechanism. But I won't say that government has not done anything regarding watershed development program. They have done quite a lot. So we are hopeful that if waiving of the loan is done, it will definitely help. Also, I would like to add something about creating more sensitivity towards the banking system. After demonetization, the banks have become quite strong, but when it comes to getting money for the common people, especially the people who are affected by drought or natural calamities, the loans for the students, loans for various other purposes related with farming. In Vidarbha especially, many banks, the district cooperative banks are not in good condition. So people have to depend totally on the nationalized banks, and many of the nationalized banks, I am sorry to say, they are not so people friendly, farmer friendly when it comes to implementation of the scheme. So sometimes it becomes only one way process, people giving money in the Mudra account or different account, but when it comes to reaching the farmers, people see a lot of hurdles in implementation.
All right. And in fact, that is the reason why farmers go to money lenders who lend their money at exorbitant prices, leading to the suicides that were mentioned earlier. I have someone on the phone line. Patil is on the phone line from Mumbai. Patil, go ahead. We can hear you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We as a taxpayer welcome the interim measures of waiver. However, I don't know how, but we should strengthen the arms of a small and marginalized farmers and the farming community to become a self-reliance, so that they don't depend upon a private loans, and more or less they are not driven to a corporatization because of a so-called modernization and mechanization, because what is being observed, the disbursement of the loans to farmers is more towards a priority sector, and they are given to the huge factors, not actually for the small farmers.
Okay, all right. Let me just bring in Prasenjit Bose. Prasenjit Bose, at the end of the day, I agree with what Patil has said on the phone line. He said that as the taxpayer in India, as the middle class taxpayer, it is our responsibility to look after the farmers. It is our responsibility to make sure that farmers are strengthened, which is why it is our responsibility to repeatedly ask questions of the government of the day of why this choice of farm loan waivers have been made. And at the end of the day, I'm not fully satisfied with the answers we've received today on what has been achieved other than farm loan waves. Prasenjit Bose?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. I think that, we have to be extremely sensitive to the condition of the farming community, because of the fact that if we lose self-reliance in agriculture, then we become dependent on imports for our own needs of even food. We become food insecure, and there will be inflation. So we have to actually take care of our agricultural sector very seriously, and if the kind of neglect that we have been showing over the past many decades, I would argue, I think we are actually not heading in the right direction. And what the BJP's farm loan waiver shows in Uttar Pradesh, that they don't have anything else to offer other than what has already happened in the past under previous governments. And that too is coming with a lot of hypocrisy, that you are doing it in Uttar Pradesh, whereas their own government in Maharashtra is not doing it. Their own government in Maharashtra is not doing it. They are saying that they have to study it. So, it's really not a well thought out policy.
Right. Chengal Reddy, closing statement. Yeah, Chengal Reddy, closing statement. Right, Chengal Reddy, very quickly, closing statement.
I am afraid that during 2017 there is going to be more suicides. Thanks to Mr. Modi's demonetization, 65% of the private credit to the small, marginal and tenant farmers has dried up. And God knows these banks are not going to give, number one. Number two, prices of every commodity has collapsed. And next, the working of the procurement institutions are virtually non-functional. And there is no hope. You see, look, you see, Kullu ka bhel, Kullu ka bhel, farmers are like Kullu ka bhel. They are living, but they are living dead. Jivas Chava, that is what you call. The problem, Mr. Modi, if you can't understand, let me tell you finally one thing, madam. This situation can be set right only by Government of India, not state government. State governments have very, very limitations. But if Mr. Modi can really focus his attention on agriculture, in 6 to 8 months' time, by the year end, he can set right agriculture. Otherwise, God save him and God save the country. That's all.
Shama, very quickly.
I'm really pained at what Mr. Reddy is saying today, and I'm telling you that most important, like he said, is technology. And if we come into power, we'll definitely take whatever you're saying.
You were in power for
and one other thing. Another thing is another industry which is going to shut shop soon is our milk producing industry, because these farmers will be unable to sell the cattle because those who buy cattle with proper papers are murdered. We had one murder.
Okay, let's just stay on point.
So,
let's stay on point.
That is also part of farming. Doesn't milk producing come under farming?
Sudesh Verma.
So that is what I'm trying to say, is that it's also going to shut shop soon.
Where you see, you must understand, I'm coming to the crux of your question, around which the whole debate centered. We must understand that UP is a different case. UP in the last 9 years, among the Bimaru states, has produced agricultural growth of 2.9%. UP has the capability to give a double-digit agriculture growth. So UP has suffered. Don't compare with UP. And we are trying to set the system correct. We have done so many things for the farmers.
So you don't believe that Maharashtra's farmers have suffered?
To have a debate. But so
Sudesh Verma, you don't believe that farmers in Maharashtra have suffered?
If other states feel, let me complete, if other states feel that their farmers are equally suffering, the agriculture is in really bad shape, they should also do that.
So you're saying Devendra Fadnavis of Maharashtra has not done his best for the farmers? Is that what you're saying? Sudesh Verma, you're saying that Devendra Fadnavis has not noticed that his farmers are suffering and he's not done enough?
Not done. That is why Uttar Pradesh agriculture suffered. Uttar Pradesh agriculture is the worst
you
in the
said
country.
if other states feel their farmers are suffering, let them do it. So why hasn't Devendra Fadnavis of Maharashtra done it up till now?
If Mr. Devendra Fadnavis thinks so, if he is convinced, he should do that. But it is for the state government to decide, not the central government. Other state governments have also done that. But they have not asked the Prime Minister. They will take their own decisions.
But here the Prime Minister took the Prime Minister was campaigning.
I have to wrap up.
The Prime Minister campaigned over here and
going round in circles. This is how we started the conversation. Unfortunately, one second. When I say 1 second, please, I have to close this conversation. Unfortunately, at the end of an entire hour, there are no clear answers of what has been achieved for our farmers out of our tax money, other than to waive loans on a regular basis to win elections or to win the next cycle of elections, as Kumar Ketkar pointed out. This is what governments have done year after year, session after session, government after government. They have used taxpayer money to forgive loans of farmers and win elections, helping neither taxpayers nor the farmers in question, because had that been a permanent solution, farmers wouldn't need loan waivers every few years. And unfortunately, there is an evil cycle that is put in place that keeps farmers poor and keeps farmers needing help that is then handed out to them like charity by successive governments. Where is the difference? Where is the difference that we were promised? Where is the Achhe Din that we were promised for our farmers and for our taxpayers? None of it is in sight as we move in now in 2 years to another general election. Nothing is changing in this country, and it won't change until you and I actually lift up our voices and actually make our discontentment heard. We want new, smarter, cleaner solutions for our farmers and for our cities. Thanks for watching.